don't have a favorite color. Maybe I'm a purple. Maybe I go, if you had to go back to that, maybe that's the best thing to say. I love purple, but.
I love this because it's like such a Renaissance grasp, is that from the time of Plato, it was believed that light, color, came out of darkness. There's this sort of like, oh, you have black and you can make the colors from black, right? But Newton ground his own prisms, right? And then he would project the prisms, and he was able to put stops and take out all the colors except blue, and then green and red, and he recombined them and made white. And he was like, no, color comes out of light.
Yeah. Wow.
And think about what this like 1,300 years people had been laboring under this idea that color comes from darkness. And he was like, no, it comes from light. You know? And then he was able to prove it like mathematically and figure, yeah. So, and then he had this, he's like, oh, you can take a rainbow and you can wrap it around like the Ouroboros and combine it, and then what it's missing is purple. So he put purple in there. He made all these, which is exactly what we do now. The only difference now is the color.
So what do you mean you put purple in?
Oh, well, because purple isn't really a color.
So purple is not in the visual spectrum. So the visual spectrum goes from about 400 to 700 nanometers roughly, and that is what we think of as the rainbow. And so in the spectrum, true purple and true red are not there. So to create purple and red, you actually have to add long wave and short wavelength light together to produce them. That doesn't mean that they're not a color that we experience. It just means you can't produce them with monochromatic light. So if we, in similar to the rainbow example, if we took a prism and split white light that way, then you wouldn't find pure red or purple in the spectrum from the prism. You would have to add the short and the long wavelengths together. However, what is a color is it's in a perceptual color space, and so you can define that space as having axes that go from red to green and blue to yellow and white to black. And so any color that lives in this three-dimensional space is a color. So white is a color and black is a color, and everything in between. So the central spine goes from black through gray to white, and then you get more vivid or more saturated as you go outward in the space, and you go lighter as you go from the bottom to the top, it gets lighter. And hue goes radially around this space. So part of that would be the rainbow, but then it connects in between so that you've got pure red and purple in that space as well.